Hello, and welcome to the America First Warehouse, home of Right for America issues that unite, don't ignite. I am your host, Cindy Gross, known to so many of you as the Jewess Patriot. But as you know, you don't have to be Jewish to be a part of our show because we talk about all kinds of issues that relate both to the Jewish and non Jewish community. And welcome in. We're so excited to have you. And we are live on Facebook and Instagram and through the America First Warehouse and on Rumble. Before we begin, I must announce a disclaimer that the views of this show are not necessarily the views I have that our guests share or the views of the America First Warehouse or WGBB Radio or any of the other outlets that host the show. So please be aware of that. And with that, we're going to get into our show. As many of you know, I open with my pearls of wisdom because my name is Zisel Pearl, which in Jewish means sweet pearl. And I have a lot of pearls to share today. First of all, I want to say hats off to so many of the wonderful American patriotic brands that send me hats to wear on the show. I am super excited to be able to share such great creativity, to share American made, small business, large business, online business, retail store business. And this hat is no exception. This hat is created by New York Fashion Week designer Mark DeFang. He made it for me, and I wore it through the inauguration. And as many of you know, next week starts New York Fashion Week, and Mark, who is known as the King of Glitz, is going to be a big part of the show, and he dresses many of the beauty pageant contestants and many of the MAGA customers. So please support him. Go to my website, the America First Warehouse, and to Mark DeFang directly because you will be supporting an American business that supports patriotic values. I even wore this to one of the inauguration black tie events. That's how much people enjoyed seeing it and actually bought it after they saw me wear it at the event. So every week I'm going to be featuring another design that you can get through Right for America. My monologue and my opening pearls of wisdom is something that I think many of us are thinking who have been with the MAGA movement for now, I guess, 3 administrations. And that is everything old is new again. Is it really? So many people are so excited about so many of the executive orders. I can't begin to tell you how many people think these are brand new creations that just came about in 2 weeks. And I can tell you that so many of the great executive orders that President Donald Trump has signed really have been in play for a long time. As a Jew and the Jewess Patriot, I'm going to give you the one that I'm closest to. Within the past couple days, multiple executive orders have been signed about anti Semitism, whether or not it's exploring the anti Semitism on college campuses or defining anti Semitic acts and how to deal with them. But in 2019, I was invited to the White House to the Hanukkah party, and standing maybe 3 feet in front of me was President Donald Trump, his his family, several congressional people and senators, Alan Dershowitz, the lawyer, Robert Kraft, the former owner of the New England Patriots. Oh, actually, he is, I'm sorry, the owner of the New England Patriots. And many Jewish leaders from Israel and around the states. And he's signed the executive order to combat anti Semitism then and there in 2019. And many people forget about it, or many people in the MAGA movement that are here now, or first time Trump voters, aren't aware that this has been ongoing. It's just been extended and improved. And to all of you who joined the MAGA movement that are Democrats and independents, or even those that just voted for Trump and then voted blue down ballot, many of you are watching lawsuit after lawsuit on college campuses by Jews, whether it's Shabbos Kestenbaum in Harvard or the students at Penn and Yale, and of course the wonderful Congresswoman Elise Stefanik pointed to it in many of her hearings when she hosted them regarding anti-Semitism on college campuses. But everybody is benefiting from them. But it's up to you and me to make sure that the public is educated about them. And it's up to you and me to show gratitude to President Trump for continuing the discussion of anti-Semitism and extending it. Reach out to him at the White House. Demand that your local groups, whether they're Republican clubs or conservative clubs or Zionist clubs, because you don't have to be Jewish to end anti-Semitism. In fact, some of the biggest people that are supporting this are Christian Zionists. But that's just one example, and we can go on and on as we go through every executive order that's happening. This just didn't pop up overnight. These aren't ideas that he just thought about. They really are the extension of 45. And one of the newer ideas is this Make America Healthy Again. And I'm going to talk a little bit in my closing about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and what this movement is going to do for all common sense Americans, if not all common sense people around the world, because it's bringing about a discussion that's so desperately needed. And with that, I'm going to bring in two special guests, two people that I am friends with, and two people that have been working with me in advocating for education and a general public about making your homes healthy again. Tuning in and joining us now via Zoom is the Patriot Barbie, Lindsey Graham, and award-winning actress Tracy Melchior, who many of you know because she has been a guest several times. But Tracy has introduced me to Lindsey and to a wonderful group of patriots. But it is a patriotic group, because being healthy doesn't have an R or a D or an I at the end of it. It has America in it, and it's for all ages, all backgrounds, everywhere around the country. Because I know Tracy longer, I'm going to bring her in first and let her share some updates about what's going on in her life with Making America Healthy Again. And then we're going to bring in her dear friend, Lindsey Graham, the Patriot Barbie.
Everybody becoming more aware of what's in their products and what they're consuming. But one of the things I'm really passionate about is not just what you eat and drink, it's what you apply and what you inhale. And that's part of the conversation that we haven't gotten around to so much yet. But that is something I'm really passionate about, because for me, for those of you who remember when I was on your show before and I talked about my health journey, is I changed my diet, I changed my supplementation, all those things. But it wasn't until I changed the environment in my home that my health truly got better.
And Lindsey, you're a first-time guest on the show. And the Patriot Barbie story is amazing. And as Lindsey says to me, once I get asked the question, how did I get here and what's happened to me, it takes up the whole hour. So in 5 minutes or less, tell people how you went 5 years ago from what you say is virtually nothing to being the success story you are and the motivator for thousands upon thousands of women and men in this movement, even before Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s name became so prominent with Making America Healthy Again.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I'm someone that a lot of women and men are going to relate to. I was completely asleep prior to 2020. And I am one of millions and millions of people who in the last 5 years have started to wake up to what's going on in our country. And my awakening came because in 2020, I was a salon owner in Oregon, and a lot of people did see the story. It was global news. Just for reasons that were not political or spiritual, I said the government cannot control a virus. I believe in a higher being than the government, and that's God. And I know that we can't control a virus. So to have all 6 businesses shut down in Oregon, I just couldn't comply with that. I couldn't agree with it. I felt like I was being gaslit and abused by the government. So for reasons like unknown to me at the time, I just decided I'm going to defy the government. I'm going to open up my business against lockdowns. And I was awakened very quickly to the division in this country between Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives over who believed I had the freedom to work and who didn't. And that story, of course, was viral. It changed my life forever. If you've kind of followed up with me, I ended up losing all of my businesses to cancel culture. But it spiraled me into waking up to not only that political division, but a cultural division. And then I began to interact with and follow on social media more conservative based personalities. And I would hear and absorb the things that they were saying. And I started questioning everything that I had just blindly believed prior to 2020. And it went from literally thinking anti-vaxxers are crazy, these women that think vaccines harm their children are nuts, to I don't vaccinate my kids anymore. And it's been such a glorious journey, but I do like to use the word journey. People would look at someone like me and think that I've been awake my whole life and I know what I'm talking about and I know everything about this movement, and I do not. I am on a journey myself in the last 5 years to discovering what I will believe blindly, which is nothing, and what I will research myself in this Maha movement.
So when I spoke to you yesterday, we had a detailed conversation, and there's something that's not being discussed about in any other conversation about Make America Healthy Again. And that you really brought up to me, and it has nothing to do with Robert F. Kennedy or men or women, but I've always questioned people about why do we have so much more skin cancer now? And I have to say, growing up, I was brought up in an era where we used to sit out in the sun hours putting on endless suntan lotion. I don't know if you remember Bain de Soleil.
Baby
I'm a
oil.
little bit older than you.
Baby oil.
But
Baby oil.
you talk about beauty products, and that's something that we're discussing because it is a multi-million-dollar business, whether or not it's made in America or it's going to be part of the tariffs around the country that Donald Trump is talking about. But you said to me, my face never felt better when I started reading labels on makeups and creams and scrubs, and I never felt better, or people never complimented my face as much without doing so much to it. Tell us about the beauty journey with non-toxic products made in America.
Well, before I got canceled in 2020, I was a salon owner and a stylist for 15 years. And with that comes this whole, vanity movement of wearing the most expensive modeled makeup like MAC makeup and using the finest hair care products and just really like looking the part. And it wasn't until I joined My Freedom Cart with Tracy that I discovered that they have on top of hair care. And it was something like Tracy says, something you don't even think about. Oh, I'm watching what I eat and I'm watching the supplements that I take and I work out. But if you think about the vanity industry and what it has done with women, from like the moment you wake up and you wipe off the skincare that you put on and wore all night long, you get in the shower, you put on lotion, you put on deodorant, you put on a full face of 20 plus products of makeup, you spray your hair, you're putting like 30 to 40 products on your body before you even leave the house. And is anyone talking about what's in those products? You're consuming them the same way you're consuming food. It's absorbing into your body. You're putting it all over your skin. You're sitting in it all day long. And when Tracy introduced me to My Freedom Cart, I took thousands of dollars of MAC makeup and I said, first of all, I don't want to support this brand because of what they donate to. They donate to BLM, they donate to abortions, they donate to the Pride agenda. I want to put my money where my mouth is. And I didn't have a solution. That was the biggest thing. And a lot of conservatives feel like, well, what's my alternative? Well, Tracy introduced me to my Freedom Cart as an alternative. And I had already joined my Freedom Cart and was taking the supplements and all that stuff. But when I discovered they had makeup, I tried it with very little hope, by the way. Oh, it's non-toxic and it's affordable. It's probably not that good. It was amazing. I took all my MAC makeup and I threw it out. And I exclusively the products from this American-made store. And they're amazing, first of all. The quality is comparable, if not better. But there is a feeling that you get, and conservatives need to know this. There's a feeling that you get when you are actually putting your money where your mouth is and not just talking about how do we change America. And you're like, the products that I'm buying fund American jobs on American soil. They fund veterans, military, police. None of my money is going to MAC to put the makeup that I love on a male model and erase women. And not only does my skin look great and I get I met Trump wearing my non-toxic made in America. I didn't go buy good, expensive stuff. I wore my non-toxic makeup to meet Trump and Tucker Carlson. And it speaks volumes for itself. It's a great alternative.
So we're going to be featuring the website afterwards. We're going to share it with all of our social media where people can find out more about this. I'll tell you one interesting about non-toxic and making America healthy again. It's really uniting people that would never meet each other. I mean, just from our group of friends, because we really have become all friends and supporting one another. 20-year-olds, 80-year-olds, Arizona, Florida, New York, it doesn't matter. And the other thing that I noticed we have in common, you started the conversation, I want Tracy to add into this, family values. And I really believe that family values, it's not being discussed so much now because it's not legislation and it's not executive orders. But I think as this movement grows and as people will see common sense results, this whole movement is going to be more about old-fashioned faith-based and family-based. Tracy, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, it's the fabric of our nation for sure, is that nuclear family, and it's getting obliterated for sure. And one of the things Lindsay and I have started doing now with this company and movement that we're in is helping moms stay home with their kids, so we can get those family values that so many want to be home and raising their kids and not throwing them in daycare. And that's something I'm really passionate about. I'm not judging those who have to, but I was able to be with my kids most of the time when I did work. I was able to bring my mom as a nanny to set with me. And I valued that. And I know so many women who really want that, but don't feel like they can. They don't see an alternative. And that's one of the other things we're really passionate about, helping moms be home and still have some sort of an income with their children on their hip. We have meetings with our team and there's babies crawling all over our girls and welcome it. We want them to be able to be there with their kids. But then I wanted to also just point out something too, like Lindsay talked about, when she started all these different sides, when she was in this conflict and, you talking about bringing people together. But something else I've noticed that kind of breaks my heart a little bit is conservatives. They come to us, they're looking for an American-made company, and then they want to pick everything apart about it. And conservatives shoot their own army more than the Democrats. And it's really frustrating for us because it's like, well, I already like like Lindsay, I'll use for an example. Like they would be like, oh, I already like my MAC makeup, so I don't need that. And I'm just happy with where I'm at. Conservatives are so unwilling to be uncomfortable for a minute. When did we get so fearful of trying new things, of willing to, get in, like what she said, like actually make a difference, put our money where our mouth is. It's like that people died for our freedoms, and we're coming in across so many conservatives who are like, oh, but I have to order online. I'd rather just go to Target when I'm there and grab it. It's like they're unwilling to change their habits. And that is the one thing with this movement. And I'm grateful for Robert Kennedy, but it's like, we can't just focus on seed oils, and we can't all become in this competition of who's crunchier than who else. That's the part where I really hope we can all come together. And there's so many companies jumping on the bandwagon right now, right? First, the non-toxic thing. Two, they're jumping on, slap a flag on it and say US made, but are they living American values? Is the company's decisions the same as what, freedom inspires? That's the kind of thing that we've gone a little deeper level, Lindsay and I, with how we're running things and what we want, businesses we want to be in business with.
So one thing I have to say about these two that I encourage everybody who's listening or watching to really think about is that these two have workshops where they educate. They teach you how to read a label so that you know. I mean, for 6 months, Tracy was talking to me. When was the last time you read the label? Do you really know what you're doing? Do you really know what you're buying? And I thought I did because it said all the things that I thought were right. And nobody is paying them upfront endorsements to advertise education. And too many people are uneducated, and it's not just in this. I mean, I saw two things as the Jewish patriot about Israel that was so wrong today just on Instagram, and that people believe and share and repost. These two actually run workshops to educate you to go to the supermarket and really learn, those big words that we don't know how to pronounce. Well, they actually spent the time to actually research them so that we don't have to, so that we know the difference between non-toxic and toxic. And the other thing I'm going to say is that nobody is alone with working with this. This is not something that you learn overnight and you change overnight. I'm sure Lindsay's story about throwing out MAC Cosmetics, it took her a little time. She was like saying, wow, I spent so much money on this. And then finally the epiphany came in. And that's kind of what happened with me with a bunch of stuff as well. I was afraid. I said, this is hundreds of dollars of stuff. I'm not throwing it out, whether or not it was my laundry detergent or my underarm deodorant, my shampoo, or my facial moisturizer. But then I really started thinking, how many people do I know who are younger than me that are dying from cancer, and they don't know the reason why? They didn't smoke, they exercised, they did what everybody thought was the right diet, all those healthy things. And I think education is key. And Lindsay, you really have educated so many people. Why do you think, why has that become such a passion for you?
I think it's because I'm relatable. I think it's because the majority of my following has followed me since 2020, and they've actually watched me go from being completely asleep to waking up to, this subject, and waking up to this subject. And I've been on so many journeys, and I'm so open and authentic about it on my social media that I feel like people take comfort in knowing I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I know that I will, and I'm taking my baby steps there too. And I'll give you a great example. This is how authentic I am. My entire following is Maha essentially now, and the journey of non-toxic and being awake to what the government's trying to do to us. And I'm a mom and a wife, and I still get Botox and filler. And I've been for the last year on a journey saying, I don't want to do that anymore. But what woman is going to run in and just get her whole face deflated and be like, I'm okay with that, So I'm back and forth, and I'm telling my audience, like, I don't want to do this stuff. I know it's not good for me, but you also have to understand that I've been doing this for 20 years. This is part of my life. Baby steps to getting rid of certain things that you believe aren't healthy, and you're just trying to do the best that you can. And that's where I think the conservatives, like Tracy was saying, they really struggle with, well, I want to support this company because they have this value. Oh, but I don't like that value, so I'm just going to cut them out completely. And it's like, no. Do do as best you can with the resources and the ability that you can without stressing your life out and your family out and your kids out. And so there are products in my kitchen right now that I know a super crunchy mom would be like, "What are you doing with that stuff?" And I'm like, "I'm doing the best I can." And that's all we're asking everyone else to do is baby steps here, baby steps there. If you can't go completely toxic free and you can't, cut out everything from your diet and your house that you feel like you're still clinging to, what can you change? What are you willing to look at and change? And since everyone has watched me be on that journey, instead of going, "Oh, well, she's here at this level and I'll never be at that level, so I'm not even going to try," they're watching a normal mom with a normal life try to do better. And that inspires them too.
So a couple
can I
of
just
our
add to that
listeners
real
have
quick?
been
Oh,
texting and writing in, and they have a couple of questions.
okay.
First of all, Tracy, people, of course, recognize you from The Bold and the Beautiful. And they said you desperately needed back. Would you ever go back to the show?
I would. I moved to Arizona, but it's close enough to go back. I loved working on The Bold and the Beautiful. It was great cast, fantastic. Catherine Kelly Lang is one of my favorite people on the planet that I've worked with next to Lindsay. There's just a Windsor. I would love if they brought Thorne back. I love my cast. I loved the crew. I love the Bell family. That I would go back in a heartbeat. I think there is so much storyline for Kristen Forrester that has not been explored, that could be there. And if they ever want to explore it, then yeah, I can talk about commuting.
Thank you. The next question, I'm going to give it to each one of you, so you decide. Everybody's very fearful that being healthy is very expensive, and in this economy, people are worried about that. And I will tell you, I know I've experienced this, especially with Tracy. Actually, when you do comparison pricing and education, if you're really a good consumer, it's actually cheaper. Tracy, I'm going to let you start with this, and then I'm going to hand it over to Lindsay.
Okay, so two things. One is one of my favorite sayings is you either spend money on your wellness or you'll be forced to spend it on your illness. You have to think about long-term costs in things like what do you really value? But part of what led me on this journey was I spent a ton of money. I was overwhelmed using all my bandwidth trying to figure it out. There's so much noise out there. The natural stuff, everyone's into it, right? And there's always something new. And to me, healthy should not just be for the wealthy. And that's why we created My Freedom Cart as a resource where a single mom in Iowa with 6 kids who wants to have a healthier house, we want to make that possible for her.
And Lindsay?
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on that I'm a testament. I am completely a testament. In fact, I'm a great testament because I just told you that in 2020, I lost all of my income. I mean, I've moved to Arizona in complete faith that God would have a better plan for my family, a different plan, and we would be okay and he would prosper us. And so I am what you would consider a stay-at-home mom. I do not have a career anymore that was $200,000 a year. And I have 3 children. And I am an avid shopper. And I will not go spend my money anywhere else. And if it were not affordable, I wouldn't be doing it. And I think every mom feels that. And the tagline, of course, the cliche tagline would be, you can't afford not to do it. Because I think Tracy's right. People are spending thousands and thousands of dollars on medicines to cure illnesses that might not have even existed had you chosen to invest upfront in the safety of your children and your family's products prior to.
Next question I have, also very interesting. Obviously, Right for America, and we're talking Republican, conservative, and Trump. How do you entice somebody who isn't a Republican to join us because it's really such an issue that is not political?
Well, like you said in the very beginning of the show, there shouldn't be an R, D, or I at the end of wellness. Like I can't believe that right now Republicans are pushing in a new health secretary that's a Democrat. Like that's how united this America has become. So why is it that our wellness and our health has to be a bipartisan issue? I just can't, and I also can't believe we're at the point where you would have considered a crunchy, non-toxic mom probably like a liberal 10 years ago. And now it's the conservatives that have taken over the movement with our antitrust of the government and these three-letter government entities and what they're putting in our food. So even though my freedom card sounds like it's political, why can't it be freedom from illness, freedom from big pharma, freedom from being a slave to a consumer market that doesn't honor your body and your wealth and your health and your wealth? I'm going to just leave it right there. I think that was a good explanation.
Do you want to add anything, Tracy?
No, I thought she did a great thing. And I think if any part of you doesn't want to help someone with their health because of their political affiliation, I would say check your mental health because we should care about everyone.
Next question. I'm a college student and I'm looking to make some money while I'm going to school. Is this something that works for me?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. We have a very comprehensive referral program. When you experience the products, I tell people this all the time as an ex-hairstylist, when you find a great hairstylist, you can't help but talk about her and refer her to your friends. Oh, she's always on time. She has a great job. She's affordable. Look at my hair. It's beautiful. When you try the products, you will love them. You will love how they show up at your door. You will love the values that they stand for, the quality, the affordability. You're going to walk away telling anyone that'll listen how awesome it is and how happy you are. When you do that, you have the opportunity to become a referral partner with the company and generate income for your family. And that's exactly when Tracy introduced me to my Freedom Cart. I had no intention of it being a job at all. I just literally wanted to put my money where my mouth is. And for 6 months, that's all I did. And she kept saying, you should share this with your audience. You should share it. And I said, no. And then when I threw out my MAC makeup, I thought I should do a reel on this and show everyone how good this makeup is. And I can throw away my woke makeup. And then I went, oh, wait, I think I can make money doing that. So we welcome any opportunity for anyone that wants to jump in and help us with our team and our leads and do something that they believe in.
And we have Tuesday nights, and we can reach out directly to Tracy and Lindsay and myself on Instagram. There are workshops for people to learn more, and we could also arrange one-on-one discussions. And we really want people to get involved in this. I can tell you personally, myself, I was very hesitant about this. I thought I knew it all. And I'm at an age that, been there, done it, tried every diet, tried every makeup, tried every household brand, buy what's on sale in the supermarket for, my laundry detergent and my dishwashing detergent and all. And then I started saying to myself, you know what? I'm not that old. I'm only in my 60s. There's still plenty of life to me. And today's the first day to make a difference. And I'm hearing this from a lot of people, even in their 80s. It's amazing because they see the ability that some people have, like a Dick Van Dyke, 99 years old, going to the gym 3 times a week. And just little tips. Like, I really think you said it so well, Lindsay. You don't have to go all or nothing. And it's okay to make, to go off a little bit. It's adjust your lifestyle to it. And I think we saw that a little bit with, and I'm going to my closing today is going to be about RFK. So I don't want to give too much away, but everybody was trying to, gotcha moments because he said something maybe 10 years ago. Don't people change? Don't people change opinions as they learn more? Don't people change as their lives change? What I wanted 10 years ago in my life isn't what I want today. And I think that this is a very realistic approach to it. There is no failure in trying to be more healthy. There is a problem if you keep having to pay more health insurance. Forget about for illegal immigrants, for yourselves. because you think you're healthy and you're not. And I know some of the best examples of pesticides on foods and vegetables that people are being pushed to buy because they have all this fiber content. But if they don't know how it's grown and what kind of farm that's at with pesticides, they could be poisoning themselves more than anything else. So, I mean, it's so important. And I know Tracy has discussed before on the show when she discusses she's had health issues. So, if you want to elaborate on more what I just said, we could have both of you or Tracy, you want to start with that. I think that it's really an important point.
No, I love that you brought that up. So what we're looking for is people that are open and humble, sharing of where they can source their, household goods. We want people who are open and humble because this, like what you said, we've all been humbled, at different times. And you're the ones who think they know everything about this. Now that I'm looking at like a manufacturing process, I have been so humbled. Ingredients are great. And I love that people are waking up to read ingredients. But like you said, they don't label the pesticide on the apple at your store. It's like what is used in a manufacturing process that's not on a label. People don't realize how much is left off of labels. They are I always say they're the headline, not the article. It's just a very broad amount of information. There is so much nuance in ingredients and manufacturing process. So I'll give an example. Like you can buy non-GMO foods or plants or whatever, and you can be all excited about it. But the farm next to them might be spraying stuff that sprays over onto your stuff. It's like there's so much that is not abundantly clear that we've all got to I think cooler heads need to prevail. Like we all need to start being wise, but there's a lot of scare tactics and fear mongering going on too, where I would like to take a collective deep breath. And we just kind of like to meet people sort of in the middle. Like not everything in nature is good and not everything in science is bad. We can find greener, safer products that are easily accessible.
Well, now I want to go through because I like people to learn about the person who's here, not just what we're discussing as a topic. They like to get to know you. So I'm going to do a quick round with both of you, and we'll go one question, and we'll go to each of you.
Are we speed dating?
Favorite
You're gonna fall in love
food?
with
Lindsay,
me.
go first.
Italian. Can I be that generic?
Anything Italian or?
Manicotti formaggio.
Mm.
The cheese. Oh, the cheese.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Oh, I would say Mexican. And Lindsay saw me at a Mexican restaurant recently in Las Vegas. And oh my gosh, they had the
I
best.
had to yell. I yelled, Maha, stop eating the chips and salsa.
I'm coming on the next trip. We've got to get me there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, next one. Favorite actor?
Nicolas Cage. Fun.
I was going to say we have to forget it. Can't include Tracy or anybody that she's worked with that she's so
Okay.
close with. It wouldn't be fair.
Okay, Nicolas Cage then.
I love Vince Vaughn.
Oh, I love Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, I would say.
He's
or
conservative
anyone
too.
on Suits. I love Suits. Anybody on Suits.
Who would you like to meet that you haven't met yet?
I was going to say Jesus, but I meet him every day. You go first, Tracy.
I love that the way you said that.
Who would I like to?
And you met
Oh.
Trump, so.
I know. So like Trump's always my number one, but then I finally got to meet him.
Yeah, I haven't met Trump. I'll take Trump.
I
you
didn't
take
hear what you
Trump.
said, Tracy. I'm sorry.
I
Tracy,
said
didn't
I'll
hear.
take Trump since I'm the only one here who hasn't met him.
Favorite
I'll take-
vacation spot?
I'll take Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Mm.
I'd like to meet her.
Tracy.
Oh, who else I want to meet?
No, favorite vacation spot.
Oh, favorite vacation spot? You know what was weird? I really don't love vacations because I'm a homebody, but I'll say Hawaii.
I'm gonna say Lake Shasta, California, because that's my childhood growing up is camping and boating there, and there's value in those childhood memories. So I'm gonna say that.
That's the next question. Your favorite childhood memory?
Mhm. Favorite childhood memory. Boy, we're going deep here. Wow. Tracy, you go first.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go with the first time I got a blue ribbon showing my horse. That would be a good one. I absolutely was so horses are just my spirit animal, and there was just something about getting to go to a show and show off my horse. And I got to show a horse that was abused and kicked out of another program, and I built a trust with her. And I remember the trainer came down the aisle because they said that she was like an untouchable horse. And here I was a 12-year-old girl and just won a class with her. And it was just a huge, like, prideful moment for me. I loved that.
Okay, I'm gonna go with, you guys are not gonna know what this means. I'm gonna go with skitchin. And skitchin is when you hold onto the back of a car rollerblading. And I was a tomboy when I was a kid. And so I did everything the boys did. And I had two brothers, so I just hang out with gangs of boys. And they were all fighting over who was going to be the first one brave enough to skitch. And I went and grabbed the back of a UPS truck and I turned around. I saw it was like such a proud moment. I was like, I'm cool.
So each of you have a minute before we close to say whatever you want freely. And we're going to, at the end, again, invite everybody to our workshops, because for me, what really has sold me on our friendships more than anything else, besides the loyalty you guys have. I mean, Tracy, me whenever I have a crisis for anything, but really the education and making myself aware of things as a mother, as a grandmother, as a daughter-in-law, a wife, a friend, a neighbor. I mean, education is so key, and we live in a society where 10 seconds is like too much to learn something. Everybody wants instant gratification. So having a great time learning something is so unique and so special. And I want to thank both of you for allowing me to be a part of this. But so who wants to go first with the last minute?
Well, I'll go quickly. I just want to say for everyone that's considering jumping into any kind of movement, Maha, MAGA, conservatism, school, don't do all the work yourself and put it on yourself to become a master or educated person in one specific area. I will say Tracy is kind of my guru for like ingredients, healthy, non-toxic. I don't need to go and spend 12 hours on a computer researching. Tracy has done that. So give an expert the chance to be the expert that they are and let them guide you and help you in your movement so you don't stress yourself out to the point where you just give up. I would have given up if someone had told me that I had to go and read every ingredient on every product that I ever bought for the rest of my life and know what it meant. I know that Tracy has put in the work and I trust her and I allow her wisdom to be my guiding factor. And so don't be afraid to let the reins loose and trust someone who's already done the work and be kind of your mentor in any specific area.
Tracy?
Very nice. Yeah, and I'm certainly just like what Lindsay said, I'm just further along in the journey. I know, I am willing to learn still as well. I'm very humble about that, but I do really am confident in what I have learned. But as far as like my last thing, I would just say the thing with Lindsay and I, we have a motto working together: rising tides lift all boats. And we just want to meet people. And if we have an ability to help them and a vehicle to put them in that will bless their lives, we feel like we've been blessed, we bless others, and we've, really enjoyed doing that. So if you want to chat with us and hear about what we're doing, and would love to have you a part of it.
Lindsay Graham, the Patriot Barbie, Tracy Melchior, both on Instagram and Facebook, and we all have Tuesday night a seminar. You can reach out to me to find out more. And I can't thank you enough for being a part of the show, and for I'm just letting everybody know that one show a month is going to be dedicated to making America healthy again, because that's how important I believe this topic is, and how much a topic it is that unifies all of us. So I know you're all going to come back. You're going to bring other guests with you. I know some of our other friends like Joy Villers coming on next month, and we're just going to include everybody in this because we have to rely on each other to get healthy. That's the reality, and we need a support team, and we have it right here.
Yep. Amen. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for having
much
us on.
for tuning in, and I am going to now do my closing pearls of wisdom. First of all, I want you all to know that this Friday is Valentine's Day specials hashtag all over social media. And I am wearing, of course, the red, white, and bedazzled that was I collaborated on. It is an American business, a legal immigrant, supporting veterans, supporting law enforcement, affordable handmade jewelry. You can wear it with jeans, you can make it black tie, and every piece can be collaborated with another piece in the collection. I suggest you go to Artisan Avenue Group and to my website and the America First Warehouse, especially as we are preparing for Valentine's Day. And my closing is going to be a very important pearls of wisdom. And that is being healthy does not mean being a hypocrite, or being a hypocrite does not mean being healthy, each way you want to look at it. This week, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. did pass through the vote in the Senate. If you're watching this live, it was this morning. If you're listening to it, it was a few days ago. And it really went all Republican, yes, all Democrat, no. But what was the most scariest thing about this hearing was how his cousin, Carolyn Kennedy Schlossberg, made a post about him that he's delusional and a predator. Let's be clear. Many of the people in the MAGA movement are too young to remember the headlines of the Kennedys. Whether or not it was their first cousin who was accused of rape, and maybe if his last name wasn't Smith or tied to a Kennedy, he'd be sitting in jail right now, or a Skogel, which is a first cousin, or of course, ask Mary Jo Kopechik's family what they think about the late Senator Ted Kennedy. Not to mention all the conspiracy theories about how Marilyn Monroe died. So if you want to talk about predators and inappropriate behavior, look in your own house. Look at the fact that your brother was an amateur flyer, pilot, yet thought he was a Kennedy and took a plane to a wedding of a cousin and never made it there because of his arrogance. I'm not saying RFK Jr. is perfect. I wasn't really for him at first. There were lots of things I didn't love about his campaign, but I think he's bringing about a very, very important issue that surpassed any initial doubts I had about him. And that is that there has to be a discussion about health in this country, from insurance companies to red dyes to autism to school lunches to senior drugs, whatever it is, there has to be a discussion. There has to be a reason why other countries don't allow American products as easily as we want their products because of health issues. So that is really my word to the wise. Focus in on making health not a political issue, but an issue for yourself, for your neighbors, friends, family, and for everybody. In healthy, there's no R, there's no D, and there's no I for a reason. And lastly, I like to say that as a Jew, as a proud Zionist, as somebody who has been with the Trump administration now 3 times, I am getting constant questions about the visit of Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu and Donald Trump. And I'm just going to tell you what my thoughts are. And they are very similar people, and they had a great relationship. And I know people want to try to break it down, and they want to try to destroy any kind of peace talks that are going on. And uh, many people in Hollywood still are delusional with what's going on in Gaza. But I will tell you something. Israel needs America, and America needs Israel for many, many reasons that we don't have to discuss in the public, that the governments know. Israel doesn't get things for nothing. Israel pays a lot of money for their arms, unlike other people who are just handed things. But more important, Israel and America as a team will save the Western world and democracy, where countries are already losing it. The intelligence, the technology, the ability to communicate. You know, it doesn't matter what part of the world has a catastrophe or a natural disaster. It's always Israel that's one of the first to send help and supplies and volunteers to help out, regardless of whether or not they like Israel, they support Israel in the United Nations, and their members of their parliaments and governments support it. So it's brand new now for Donald Trump. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens. And in 2 weeks, we're going to have a show with the afterthoughts where we see the actions. It's too soon to tell, but it's soon enough to keep your eyes and ears open and work together for a strong Israel and America. We're about to close. I just want to remind everybody, we are on Rumble. We are on WGBB Radio Sundays at 10 a.m., 12:40 a.m., and 95.9 FM. We are on every major podcast outlet, and you can read my writings through Newsmax and Israel National News. This is Right for America, issues that unite, don't ignite. I am your host, Cindy Gross, the Jewess Patriot. Thank you for tuning in.